Imagine being locked up inside a prison deep in a deserted tundra covered in snow. Outside, the icy wind howls and the distant clanging of metal doors makes the whole place feel chilling. Yeah, in Russia's bone-chilling cold, out in the middle of nowhere, there are prisons so terrifying they'd make even the spookiest fortresses look tame. Black Dolphin, Polar Wolf, Polar Owl, and Fire Island. The names sound dramatic, and they're just as real and heart-wrenching as they sound. For most of the year, these fortresses are shrouded in complete darkness and freezing cold. In winter, the temperature drops down to -50°C. In this freezing cold, even a person's breath freezes. Once these prisons swallow someone up, the outside world forgets their name. Some lucky prisoners who manage to get released share how they were forced to stand for hours in the biting cold. If they moved even a little, they were punished by having freezing cold water poured over them. They were left alone in tiny cells to break them mentally. What's even worse is that the punishments here are as brutal as the prisoners themselves. It's like demons and monsters that eat people. How could anyone forget that they're trapped in such a remote, haunted hell? Let us find out why these prisons in Russia are considered some of the most terrifying in the world, and why the prisoners there are infamous worldwide. The Black Dolphin prison, near the Russia-Kazakhstan border, is one of the oldest and highest security prisons in the country. About 700 notorious criminals are serving life sentences here. From murderers and terrorists to cannibals, all kinds of dangerous people are held here. As soon as new prisoners arrive, their eyes are immediately blindfolded. They make sure they can't remember any inside paths. Then their waists are bent double, heads bowed, and they have to walk like that with their hands cuffed behind their backs. A guard holds their cuffed hands up high. This inhumane posture is a brutal tactic to completely break and control the prisoners. At Black Dolphin, prisoners are forced to stand for about 16 hours a day, from dawn till night. Sitting or lying down while awake is out of the question, and even leaning against the wall is forbidden. Guards patrol constantly to make sure no one rests, even for a moment. They only allowed about an hour and a half a day to warm up by exercising in an open yard that's basically like a cage. Even then, the guards take advantage of the time to raid and search them, wondering why such inhumane treatment. Because the real danger in this prison lies within the prisoners themselves. Take for example a cannibal inmate named Vladimir Nikolaev. This serial killer, Vladimir Nikolaev, used to kill his victims, chop them up, cook, and eat their flesh. What's even more horrifying is that he mixed human meat into food for his own family. He even fed them there, and in the end, he sold that meat at the local market. So, you could say these prisons are like the just desserts for such man-eating killers. Now, let's head further north to the Polar Wolf prison, near the Arctic Circle, officially called IK3. It's so remote and harsh that the inmates just call it the Polar Wolf. Located in a frozen, isolated part of Siberia, this prison barely sees sunlight for most of the year. During winter, temperatures drop below -40°C, and here, harsh punishment means using nature's cruelty against the prisoners. They're remade to stand completely still in thin clothes in an open courtyard for 30 to 40 minutes. If they move even a little, the guards immediately splash ice-cold water all over the group, drenching them. Even during the warm Greek summers, prisoners face this brutal punishment in the prison. Meanwhile, countless mosquitoes and flies buzz around. But if the prisoners try to shoo them away by moving their hands, they get the same treatment. After sending Russia's opposition leader, Alexei Navalny here, they kept putting him repeatedly in this solitary cell on various pretexts. He was kept there. He spent a total of 283 days all alone in a single cell. Almost 10 months of that lonely imprisonment is enough to break anyone's spirit. Navalny later wrote about how cold guys would scream in the middle of the night to keep him from sleeping. They played loud music, and even the slightest break would get him punished. Then, in February 2024, he died in that terrible polar prison. In this jail, they always create an atmosphere of deep distrust and fear among the prisoners to mentally break them. As a result, no one here trusts anyone else. It's impossible. Many prisoners who get out from here end up suffering from severe mental trauma. Near the Harp area, there's another terrifying prison called Polar Owl. It's one of 7 special prisons reserved for the most dangerous criminals serving life sentences. For years, inmates there do unsee sunlight, and the place is covered in ice. so remote that escaping is nearly impossible. The prisoners there have it just as bad, if not worse, than those in Polar Wolf. The cold, dark cells are so harsh that some people call them coffins for the soul. Surviving the extreme cold is a huge challenge. It's safe to say there are no heaters in any of the cells. In some cases, they even mockingly paint pictures of heaters on the walls. Many prisoners have said the food here is very little and of poor quality. The place is dirty, and getting beaten by the guards is a daily routine. Several former inmates have shared chilling accounts of unspeakable torture inside. They're stripped naked in the cold, shocked with electric currents, brutally beaten, and even sexually abused. All this cruelty has only one purpose: to break not just the prisoners' bodies, but also their confidence and spirit. Even power gets crushed to bits. So, even if those prisoners are freed, they carry the burning scars of this prison for the rest of their lives. Polar Owl holds some of Russia's most ruthless criminals. Inside, from serial killers to terrorists, everyone is counting down to their death day. Lastly, there's a prison many call Russia's Alcatraz. It's a high-security prison located on a tiny island in the middle of a frozen lake in the Vologda region of central Russia. It's surrounded by solid ice-cold water, with white stone walls topped with barbed wire and armed guards all around. Fire Island is an impenetrable fortress. Trying to escape from there is pointless. In winter, when the ferry is covered with ice, the island is closely guarded all around. Nearly 200 hardened criminals are locked up on this small island. In each cell, instead of 3 to 4 people have to cram in. The bathroom is basically just a bucket, and its stench lingers in the air all the time. Human rights organizations have repeatedly condemned the prison's inhumane conditions. They say it's not fit for the modern age, and have even called it a living hell for the inmates. Fire Islands. The scariest part is that a lot can be learned from the words of those who are kept locked up here. Take for example a serial killer named Andrei Avis. Between 1996 and 2000, in just 4 years, this maniac killed at least 14 people. In one case, he brutally stabbed a young waitress over 100 times, though he managed to escape for a while by slipping through the cracks in the law. He was caught in 2000 and is now locked up in Fire Island for life. Just imagine, a ruthless killer like that could be the boy next door. Yeah, and there are also many innocent prisoners who got caught up in this mess by mistake. Every night on Fire Island is spent in that exact kind of fear.